We're recording,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
February 2026.
And
Happy
it's,
New Year because we didn't see
yes,
you in January.
we didn't. And since I pulled up to the area where Mindy lives, and I said, there's three cranes in Clark County, and two of them are in
For
Washougal.
real. They're
Holy
building like nobody's
crap.
business next to me, and
Yeah.
it's going to be cool when it's done. But yeah,
Yeah. And then Highway 14, I mean, we were having gorgeous
yep.
weather, the mountain,
Yeah, it's so
amazing.
pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, all is
So,
well, and hope everything's going good with our audience.
yes,
And
exactly. Do you want to hear a
we're
funny
excited to be
story?
back. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so today I did take a break and walked Gunny, my little
Good.
dog. And I was talking to my dad, and I had one AirPod in, and I was wearing these jeans, and Gunny had to poo. So I took out my bag and collected the poo, and I put my phone in my pocket. And when I did that, my phone slipped out, but I didn't feel it because they're not real deep pockets.
Okay.
So I pick up the poo. We go walking around the corner. I'm talking to my dad, and the conversation just goes
Oh yeah,
dead.
of course.
And I realize, oh crap, I don't have my phone. So I'm like, and he's like, Nat, hello. And I go back probably about 50, 75 feet, and there's my phone on the grass, and I pick it up,
Sure,
and
sure as shit.
sure as
Sure as the
shit,
shit you picked up.
it was it was there. And I'm like, Dad, you're not gonna believe this. I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
Well,
So
luckily it dropped after you picked up the crap,
yes,
right?
exactly. Actually, like, as I went down to pick up the show, or maybe
Nice.
when I was standing up. Anyway, it wasn't where the poop was.
But this is good. This is
So
an omen for a good year. Things might happen, but you're going to turn right back around and it's all going to be good. See?
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
the
And we
mindset we're going to have.
and we did start talking about offline our word for the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yours is
Well, I'm working on my health, and I'm continuing to want to be that grounded energy. Unlike when I came here and sat and then started singing a song and you
right.
said,
Bring
bring
it
it
down.
down.
Not now.
So still working on that.
And what was your word last year?
Um, Shoot, what was my word
I don't
last
remember.
year?
Mine was discipline
Steady
last.
Eddie, I think.
Was it steady? No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Maybe that was the year before, and that brought me Doug.
Maybe.
Steady Eddie.
Mine
Speaking
was
of,
mine was discipline last year. And I think this year, yeah, discipline for my business and
oh yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were good
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, I was.
You turned
And
down trips.
I did.
Yeah,
And this
not
year, I
this
think it
year.
is going to be about like openness,
Yeah,
openness to just discovering new things and opportunities and just
letting it
letting
happen.
it happen the way it's supposed to happen and not
Yeah,
fighting it.
and doing the work a little bit,
Yeah.
like towards what you want, but then trusting in the process
And
and letting go.
do you know the beautiful thing with that, what you
Hmm.
just said, is it segues amazingly well into introducing our guest
Oh my
today
gosh.
because it's about getting to know what we need and who we are and
Yes.
evaluating our strengths and maybe where
Yes.
we fall short. So, do you want to
Yes.
do an intro?
I do. So we are having Tammy Holiday. She's coming from us live from Denver,
Denver,
Colorado, where
Colorado.
we both live
That's
but didn't
right.
know each other.
That's right.
Anyway, she is a freak, not a freak, about Enneagram. She's going to catch me on that. So a lot of you know about the Enneagram. I think it's 1 through 9 are the numbers. She's going to give us an intro to it. And it really tells you a lot about who you are at your best self and who you are when you're not your best self, stressed, all that stuff. And so we each have a different number. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, strengths and weaknesses, and she's going to give us some intel to that.
So,
So,
for our podcast, I would say it is like a to get her to know herself better.
yes.
To get her
Yes.
to really dig into who she is and what she wants
Yeah.
out of life. And this is just one piece of that big puzzle because there's
Totally.
so many personality tests out there and not one single one tells you everything. Right? And
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
you doing one and then another and sprinkling in those threads of commonality are
Yeah.
what has helped me over the years to say, yeah, these things continue to rise to the top as themes for me. That's what I need to be paying attention to. Right.
Exactly.
And things may
Exactly.
change over time as Tammy will tell you,
Yeah.
ours has changed. So let's welcome her in.
Yeah, and this is something that can be used with your personally, professionally, with your friendships, things like that. So Tammy Holiday with Holiday Coaching.
I'm trying to find the. Here it is. Here it is. We got her.
Here you go, Mindy.
There she is.
There she
We
is.
did it.
Yay!
We've had a few tech glitches today, but you know what? We're in
human.
it. We're doing it.
We're human, so here we are.
Yep.
Welcome, Tammy.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about all this with you guys.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Okay, so we're going to start with you giving us an overall scope of the Enneagram. Did I say that right, Tammy?
You
She
did.
caught
You
me
did. I'm
before
proud
and I
of you.
said,
That's right.
yeah, I said, don't, hesitate on calling me out on that. Kind of going through 1 through 9, correctly? 9?
There is 9 types.
Okay, 9 types. And then we're going to talk a little bit about like how you can use this information, but then Mindy and I's little types as well. So we're going to have some fun with that. So start us out with, what is the Enneagram?
Well, it's a personality system that is amazing in my opinion, but I like to so my background is I have a master's in counseling. And so all of my undergrad in family studies and my master's, we talked a lot about Myers-Briggs and the DISC and our strengths and all the different things that really look at our external behavior. And the part about once I discovered the Enneagram, the part about it that I love is it's not about our external behavior. It's more about our internal motivations and the drive for why we would do what we do, the way we think internally. And so that's a huge difference between a lot of the other personality systems, because people are like, oh, I already have done these things.
Right.
Like, and it's true. There's a dime of a dozen. Like there's so many that we can do that, tell us more about ourselves. But if we want to understand why we do the things that we do, I like the Enneagram for that.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. That's great. And there's a lot of hype about the Enneagram, a lot of books, a lot of, if people know the language, they're like, oh, you're an 8, that makes sense. Or, yep, it's because he's a 1 or whatever. So why don't we just like generally, if you can take us through like 1 through 9 typically?
Yeah, well, that's going to be a little bit complex, but that's
however you want to do it.
To go through all 9. I'm curious. I guess what I'm curious about is really focusing with you two and like hearing more
Let's
about
do it.
you guys, because
we can be vulnerable.
We love to share.
Expose us, Tammy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, here's the thing. Let me do a couple of things about understanding the Enneagram. So it is the Enneagram, and I feel like the way I'm saying it sounds like I'm saying, oh
yeah, Tammy, I was going to call you out on that. But
I know,
we're good.
but it's not. It's
Ennea.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's it basically Ennea in Greek means 9, and then gram is the diagram. So that's kind of where it comes from. And there is 9 types, but if you're anything like me, don't box me in and tell me I'm only one thing. The thing about it is there's so many parts to it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And so it's too complex for us to get into today about arrows and wings and all the ways that we tap into different types, but just know that we can be the same number as someone else and look completely different.
Yeah.
So it's again looking at how those internal motivations. So when you said you hear people be like, oh, you're a type 8, of course you're doing this. Well, we can't determine who someone else is. Like sometimes I have people try to type other people, or they want me to type them, and I'm like, I can't do that because I don't know what's driving you. I don't know why you're doing the things that you're doing, right?
Good call. And that reminds me of like the horoscope and how I'm a Pisces, but our friend Shauna and Mindy are like, you are not water, girl. You are fire. And when they looked into my co-star deep into it, they were like,
oh, that makes sense.
Was I fire rising or something? I don't know. Something like that. And it was like, but there's so many elements.
That's a good analogy.
There's so many
don't
elements.
Fit in one box.
Yeah.
Right.
Or should we? I would be terrified if if we could define me by a number. That would be horrifying for me.
Well, I can't wait to see if that's in your Enneagram number. Does not like to be put in a box.
No, absolutely.
Well, it's okay. So you guys both took a quiz again. And we discovered your numbers. And both of you said that you had a different number previously, right?
Yes. Yes.
What is that? I just want to know from you too, like, what does that make you when you hear that? What sort of thoughts are you having around that?
For me, it makes sense because I loathe stagnation. And I'm constantly trying, pushing myself to new things and adventures and trying to just not be bored with life. And so different situations put me in different headspaces. And certain life events have really made me shift my priorities and live differently, honestly. And so for me, the past 2 to 3 years has been literally life changing. I like my whole world has been flipped upside on its head.
Completely.
And so I do have a different outlook. I'm the same person. I just approach life differently and I have different internal motivators.
Okay.
So that's
that,
no surprise to me that I,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
evolved into a different makeup.
Yeah. And for me, you had said you typically don't change. And so that's the only thing I'm thinking of. However, 8, 9 years ago, when I took it for the first time, I was going through a divorce. I've grown and learned so much since then. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's chat and see
Yeah.
what comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So that is a common question. Can my type change? And the answer, when you look back at the history of the Enneagram, no, it doesn't. We are who we are. And we are always motivated internally for the same thing. So our type won't change. Now, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Assessments, like if you're taking a test or an assessment, they're only 60 to 80% accurate. So sometimes that's because of, maybe you have test anxiety. And so you're taking it and you're like, I don't know what to do. Or maybe you're thinking more external behaviors rather than what's truly underneath and what's really driving you. So, Mindy, I know you talked about it makes sense to you that there's a shift. And I want to talk specifically about your type in a minute about that.
Okay.
But we'll get there. But
Okay.
the key, I do wonder, as you answer the questions, sometimes depending on the headspace that you're in and what you're
Totally.
thinking about.
For sure.
Now, if you look at your whole life, and a lot of times those teenage and college years, like how did you respond to people? What was it that was really driving you? Those are good indicators. But I'll be honest, like when I first took the assessment, or actually I didn't even take assessment. I heard someone talking about it. And at first I was like, oh yeah, type 2 sounds like me. And then we got further and further and my husband was doing it with me. And we were like, oh my gosh, a type 1, because I have a lot of like perfectionistic tendencies, a lot of black and white thinking, a lot of right and wrong. And so that was that's common for a type 1. And so for a long time, probably a year or two, I thought that. And then I started diving into this and studying it more to become a certified coach. And I was like, something's off. This is not the motivators, and the drive is not me. So like a type 1, they fear being imperfect and making mistakes and being criticized, and they want to be good and have integrity and have balance. And those things all are true of me, but they're not always the driver.
The driver.
Okay.
Okay.
And
That's
so that
key point.
internal driver. So a lot of these, I mean, you could hear a lot of the different aspects of the types and go, oh yeah, that. And
Sure.
part of it's because we're all connected to all these different pieces. It's just how are we dominantly functioning? And that's why there's a dominant type that doesn't change. Okay.
Okay.
So then as I was getting into this, I was like, well, maybe I'm a type 2. And then when I'm in, when I was reading things, it was like the connector to the type 2 and stress was an 8. And I'm like, I said to my husband, I'm like, am I always like stressed? Because everything about an 8 sounds like me, but that means I'm stressed because a 2 goes to an 8 in stress and they take on the unhealthy aspects of an 8. And I'm like, so I kept digging and there's words of how the 8 is described that I didn't connect to. So it's complex, and I don't want to bore the listeners. But sometimes it's the words that are used, sometimes it's the space we're in. And so it's important to look at that. So
Yes.
if I switch to you, Mindy,
Yeah.
you said you were a type 7 for all these years. Okay.
Yeah, I've taken it probably 4 or 5 times and it came up as a 7 every time.
Yeah, a type 7 there. Okay, let me explain two things. Let me back up. Boop, boop. So we have the core motivators. So the two things that you look at in your core motivators is your fears, your core fears, and your core desires.
Okay.
So fears, what you're running from, what you don't want in your life, and your core desires are those things that you want to kind of surround yourself with and protect. So as a type 7, and since both of you have typed this at some point, I'm curious about what you guys think. Type 7, the fears are being deprived, trapped in emotional pain, limited, fear of missing out. That's what you want to run away from as a type 7. A type 7's desire, what they want to run toward, is that happiness and that satisfaction and that freedom and spontaneity. And so a lot of 7s are very,
Yeah.
You
they
too.
have a
on
lot
that
of
one, yeah.
vision and jump, right? And
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah.
sometimes finishing up things is difficult. So
My bedroom.
I'm gonna pull.
Oh my
hold on.
God.
You keep talking. I'm gonna find
Okay.
something that you're
Okay.
gonna die laughing about.
So I'm curious. Okay, so while she's looking that up, Natalie, hearing that, I'm just curious what you think about that, since you've not, this is the first time you've kind of typed
Yeah,
that.
so I can totally relate to the desires of a 7.
Yeah.
The fears, like what I would just tell you what my fear is I've noticed it's security if I don't have security, whether financially, mostly financially, but connection wise, things like that.
Okay. So when you think about, can you give me an example of when that would come up for you? Because security
Yeah.
is something we all, it's a
Yeah.
basic need, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that will come up for everyone. So I'm just curious.
So there's two things in the last 3 years that came up for me, and my sense of security just flared up. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to pay for this? Am I going to end up under a bridge? I'm talking loud. I went from 0 to 10 very quickly, that my security was rocked. Like, am I going to be okay?
What did it, let's go even under there. Like, what was driving that? Like, was it anything about yourself that you feared? Was it vulnerability or feeling powerless? Anything like that?
It was, I've always had to do everything on my own. So I think that came up for me because those things changed. One felt like a total failure, and the other felt like shit, I'm on my own again, and it's up to me, and it's a different picture now, and how am I going to do this? And feeling very alone. So I would say fear of maybe being alone and not having.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
That's common.
Yeah, that is common. And the reason I was asking for that difference is because I know you said that you previously had been typed as an 8. And an 8 is like the core desire is, or the fear is being weak, controlled, powerless, like feeling like we can't control our own world, and we want to protect ourselves and protect the people around us. We don't want to be manipulated. And so I just was trying to see underneath that security, that need for security.
I was feeling very powerful when I took and became an 8, because I had made this very courageous decision in my life, in my relationship, and where I felt trapped and suffocated, and my cortisol levels were skyrocketed, and I was very codependent. And so I had just taken this decision. So I had felt like, ooh, I can breathe now. So I don't know if maybe
throughout life, when you think back to like high school, college years, that fear of being trapped, was that there often?
no, but the role was for me to save everybody, inspire everybody, help everybody.
But you didn't know who was going to help you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I didn't.
So there's a
I was
safety,
the last.
there's a safety security thing there too, emotionally, of who's going to take care of me, being that I'm taking care of everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you are you did you find that you were like worst case scenario? You always knew like every safety plan, like how every if there was like a risk involved, did you always know how to solve it?
I would say I was extremely resourceful,
But
and
not
I
like
knew
not looking for the worst case scenario per se.
not necessarily in like an analytical way. Like I'm
Okay.
not like, okay, let's write, all this down, A, B, C, D, and E. I'm not
Okay.
that at all.
Okay.
But I can come in and be resourceful and figure out how to solve it. But,
Okay.
just piling more stuff on my shoulders. I can feel it right now as I'm talking about it.
I ask about the worst case scenario. That's a type 6. They are, and safety and security is like huge for them. Like it's a very big concern and it drives everything in their lives. And they are definitely, they find every worst case scenario and know how to solve it. Like they're your person who, if there's going to be an
Right?
emergency, you want them in the room with you because they know every way to solve and
Yeah.
exit in the emergency.
Yeah.
But it
That
doesn't
is
sound
not
like that's
me.
you. Yeah.
I feel
That's not me. But when the shit hits the fan, I'm like, woo!
oh yeah, you're in it.
I'm in it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
my security is rocked to
I
the
feel
core.
like for you, like belonging is at a core level,
Yeah.
something that really drives you. Just
Yeah.
that sense of belonging, like that you're accepted in your world that you've built.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that belonging, can you identify, if you agree with her on that, can you identify, see this, okay, we're on a podcast for the whole world to hear, so let's not go so deep, Tammy, right?
No, I
We'll
mean,
be as vulnerable as we feel.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, you don't
can
have to
be.
worry about
Yeah,
us.
we'll
Okay,
yeah, we'll be like,
Yeah.
hold up there,
yeah,
Tammy.
too much.
that's the
No,
coach
this is
in me.
fun.
That's the part of the
And-
Enneagram, is it goes deep.
Well, and
And
this
it-
is what
Yeah.
this is really what we wanted to do, because I want other women to be okay with talking about these things too, of like, what are those internal drivers and why do you
Yeah.
feel the way you do? With Natalie, like that was a perfect example. Just talking about things makes you feel
I can feel
like you're back in that place that you didn't feel safe, or
yeah.
it can transpose like this whole way of like, oh, I'm so happy now, but then you talk about it and you're right back there again. You regress. And I think that's so important. So keep
It
going
really
and
is.
we'll share
Yeah.
what we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that hearing you, Mindy, say that, it's like part of the Enneagram. I think I talk about it as its protective layers. That as we've lived life, there's this core of who we are, and there's that authentic self of who we are, and our dominant types in there. And there's really healthy and great things about it. And then as we start navigating life, we start taking on these like protective layers that help us to feel like we can survive and that we can just protect that tender part of who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this world's not easy,
No.
especially for women. Like
Yeah. No.
we
yeah.
could just get off on a tangent about how
That's right.
Right,
as women
exactly.
it's not easy. But
Exactly. Yeah.
so I guess I'm just curious then, if we go shift back a little bit to that belonging statement, like feeling like you want to belong. Again, that's another basic need that all of us have. But I always want to ask underneath that, what is driving that need or that desire for belonging?
To be seen.
Okay. Anything else there?
I think I give a lot and I get a lot from giving a lot. But yeah, to be seen, to be,
What if you're not seen? What if you don't feel like you're belonging? What does it feel like?
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. That's why I said it. I mean,
Big time. That,
I feel like you carry that heavier than a lot of people I know, but in a good way, right? Because you put your heart and soul out to other people. And when you don't feel that
yeah.
same reciprocal effort,
Yeah.
it like kills you inside.
yeah, like I used to have
hurts you.
really high expectations. And that'll kill you because what we put out in effort, like we're really good gift givers, Well, not everyone's a great gift giver. But our gifts are thoughtful, or our cards don't just have love Natalie on them. It has, we pour our hearts. Not everyone's like that. But yeah, I think in my growing up that if everything was okay in my bubble, I got less attention. So I was thinking about that in the shower. And so, but I was there kind of protecting my siblings and my father even from himself. And so I think that I got left in the dust, but I was very good at figuring solutions out, lifting people out of wherever they were. It was way too much power. And yeah, until you
Did
couldn't
you
do it anymore.
Yeah.
did you feel like you had to create the fun? You had to create the happiness for everybody to be okay?
I had to create the peace. I had to protect people from other people. And sometimes from themselves, from their depression or whatever. Like it was mine to like solve and like rise up.
It's a heavy burden to carry. Isn't it?
Heavy,
Yeah.
heavy burden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that went right into my marriage too. Which I don't regret, but it definitely did. Where I
Had
saw
only we
my
had the Enneagram before our prior two marriages.
I've
so you
kind
would
of just
better
been married
understand
once,
yourself.
but
Okay,
anyway,
fair.
whatever. That's
Fair.
another podcast. That's another podcast. But yeah, I don't know. Just
You can
I
see
just
how you can
yeah.
see how it gets
I
it
just
going,
took
though, right?
everything on.
Yeah,
I just took
yeah.
everything on, put it on my shoulders,
Yeah.
and it was for me. So when a relationship ends or a partnership ends, it's like I'm left in the dust a little bit, and it's for me to figure out again.
Does it make you feel weak or vulnerable when you're
No,
left in the
vulnerable
dust?
for sure. Vulnerable for sure.
And is that a fear for you in anything that you do?
Not really. No, I'm very vulnerable.
Okay,
I mean, I will tell you, like, I got nothing today, or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
when I've gone through really hard stuff, even with my team, I'm like, just so you know, like, I'm barely getting through this meeting and I'm going to go do this afterwards. And this is all I have.
So what I
vulnerable.
what I hear you saying is very similar to things I said when I was like, I'm not a type 8. I don't care about control. I'm vulnerable. I share things all the time with people.
You're right.
And as I started getting into it, I realized I'm a certain level of vulnerable. People I trust.
Yep.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
let them in a certain level, but
Yeah.
there's probably my husband's the only one that's ever seen almost all of me, right? Like, and it is, if I think about it, like I just recently, my brain's not catching up with me, but I was just recently in a situation where I was like, oh, that's what that vulnerability is that I don't love and that I run from. And I can't think of the scenario right now because my brain's not going to catch up with me because perimenopause, yay.
That'll be our next podcast. Join us for our next
Yeah.
episode.
But I guess there's just a part of me, like, I'm just wondering, Natalie, like, because so on type 8 gets kind of a bad rap too, like that we're aggressive and that we are controlling and that we're mean and that we're intimidating and that we don't know what our tone sounds
Bring
like.
it here. You're singing her tune right now. She's been called probably all those other than mean. She's like not the mean, but she's been called every other one of those.
Yeah.
Yes. And like on the DISC profile, I was D, and I had so much shame about being a D because it represents dominant.
Yep.
And I hate the word when people call me boss. I freaking hate it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So I'm an
so
8 is what we're
I'm
saying.
I'm curious if you're more of an 8. And the part for you and I, and this is what other people don't see, is that internal part of us is like, all we do is to care for people and to
Mhm.
fight for justice for people, and we come across really strong, and no one
Mhm.
understands that, but it's from that deep passion of why we do it.
That
And
sounds
Well,
great.
so
Tammy, right before we went live, I told her to relax.
She did.
she told me to calm down.
Calm down,
Yep.
which is horrible. You never tell women to
Should
calm
calm
down,
down. Just
especially
calm
in perimenopause.
Right.
But really, I was doing that honestly from my heart. I was doing that to relate to you and let
Yeah.
you know that, hey, we got this. You're fine. We got this. That's all I was doing. But that came across around very aggressive.
Right.
And I didn't hear it that way. So a thing that's really cool about a type 8 is that we actually don't want to retreat. Like if you want to push back on us a little bit, we'll take it. Let's
You
do
love
it.
that.
Let's tiff a
You
little
love that.
and we'll be
So do
fine.
you.
Yeah.
And then we're fine. You
Yeah.
know?
I respect others who do that.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
back and forth of pushback on me, challenge me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dig it.
Well, you've listened to the other episodes where I can't get away with crap
Yeah.
with Mindy. She's like,
I don't think so.
why did I have a Southern voice in the Tennessee?
Well, look-
I have no idea.
Well, look, I'm already telling her what she's internally motivated by. Like
Yeah.
I live in her brain or something.
Yeah. Okay. So let's flip over to Mindy for a second. What's your hilarity thing?
Oh yeah. So this is really funny. My daughter,
Do you want your glasses?
who is 22, she brought this to my attention about a month ago. Of you should have ChatGPT roast you, mom, and because she had done it.
Fun.
And I was like, oh, okay. Because I read hers and I'm like, this is scary accurate. This is so funny. So sure enough,
Oh,
Mindy,
my
you
God.
are a walking think tank with the execution habits of someone who keeps opening new browser tabs instead of finishing the email that's already open. You don't have projects, you have constellations. And somehow all of them are 90% done in that very specific Mindy way, where nothing is actually finished, but everything is emotionally complete.
Oh my God.
I was like, yep. That's
Oh my
pretty
God.
much it. And so like that sense of like, I want the challenge and I love going after it. And then when I feel like I've got it, I want to move to the next thing, to have that next adrenaline rush, to have that
The
next fix.
dopamine hit.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I have to work so super hard to finish what I set out to do.
Oh,
I don't have 100 projects left undone, but when it comes to work, I have to force myself because I will get 20 things going at one time and only one of them's done. Because I'm having so much fun doing it, like the work.
Yeah.
that
Well, it
leads up to
does
it.
create so much interest and excitement
Right.
and energy
Right.
when we have this idea and we can kind of run with it.
Well, it's like the whole journey, the destination versus the journey. Like I love
yeah.
the journey.
Oh yeah. Or the
Like,
excitement.
the destination
yeah.
is like, okay, cool, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
journey of getting there. That
It's like your
oh,
emails, like which email do we use? I'm like, and what's your last name? Like,
Whoa, hey, well, can we not? That's a different. That's a totally different.
well,
podcast.
it's related to the emails.
Tammy,
but
can you step in?
anyway, sorry about that. I'm getting a little aggressive. So you showed up as a 7 in this test.
Before this
Before.
time, I showed up as a
5.
5.
5.
So,
So
what is a
They're
5?
connected.
Yeah,
So
talk-
a 7 and a 5 are connected, and just like an 8 and a 7 are connected. So that's why I was asking
Okay.
some of that for you, Natalie.
Okay.
And a 7 and a 5. So I'm going to ask you, Mindy, just to kind of think about the core fear and the core desire of a 5 first and see if
Okay.
it resonates. So core fear of a 5 is being helpless, thought of as incapable or ignorant. The desire of a 5 is to be competent, capable, and knowledgeable.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Nailed it.
She
Hey,
hates
I literally
she
would. I literally wouldn't change a word.
she
And that-
hates an idiot.
Okay. Now, is that
Right?
is that always like over everything throughout your life?
Yeah. So one thing, Tammy, that I've been very open about with people is I've gone through a lot of therapy, and in the past few years, the therapy that I've been in, we dug into this, and what you said is literally what it's been my entire life. I have such a fear of failure in the sense of like we all have somewhat of a level of fear of failure, but mine is around competence. Mine is around being seen as someone who can't do something, who is not able to get to a level, who's not able to perform at a certain level. That comes from competitiveness. I was a very competitive kid. My dad really pushed that, and I got positive affirmation, recognition, acknowledgement for that competition. So that really drove me.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in my 50s and life has changed a lot in the last couple of years, I've really mellowed in that regard. I don't need to compete like I used to, but I still live every single day with that fear of I need to be seen as competent.
Okay. Okay.
I will literally crawl in a hole and cry when I think that I can't do something that I've always been able to do, or I can't do something I know I should be able to do. It absolutely.
I want to hug you right now. I want to hug you.
Yeah, that's my core driver.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason how I say they're connected, so I haven't talked about this with your audience or you guys yet. There's arrows. So you'll hear people talk about pathways or arrows. There's a number that we connect to in stress and a number that we connect to in our security or growth.
Okay.
So for a type 5, the security, you go to a type 8. So when you do that in security, you're grabbing onto a little bit more of those healthy parts of an 8 where you feel safe and supported, you show more confidence. Okay.
so what are the healthy parts of an 8?
Well, that we are able to speak up for ourselves. We are able to show justice. We are confident, and we can be
Softly.
soft.
Yes,
Yeah.
softly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
then
the
we
part
can,
that
yeah.
we have to tap into, because
Yeah.
as the protective layers come around, then we kind of start to take on the unhealthy patterns of things. So of the other types. And so like for the type 5, they go to type 7 in stress, and the parts of type 7, they become more scattered and less restless. And potentially when you're talking about, you have all these different things that you're doing and you want the fun, there's potentially, if I'm hearing you, like it's because you're in stress mode and you're like everywhere.
Totally.
Okay.
You hit the
Interesting.
nail on the head.
Interesting.
So what's curious then is like, why did the assessment come up as a type 7 all those years for you?
Well, so I think for me, I've always been in front of people. I was a high school English teacher for 17 years. I am an entertainer of that kind of, song and dance, keep people entertained, keep them engaged, pull people in and try to help them get to a different level in their own lives, inspire people to do better. Like all of those things have charged me for 30 years, probably ever since college. And I still, the 7 resonates with me as a dominant trait because I still love to be on stage. I still love to capture people's attention, but I'm falling out of that more and more because it is a lot of work, and it does
And
require
energy.
a ton of energy that lately I don't have
Okay.
for just health reasons. I just don't have that energy. And so I now have to really focus on what else can I control. If I can't control my level of energy and my output in front of a group, what else can I control? That means something to me. And that's digging in and researching and reading and making meaning of life and finding the little things that make me happy. And so my priorities really shifted.
Do you go into that research and looking at things like studying and all of that in a stress state, or is that like a
No,
comfort
that's like
state?
a relaxing thing for me.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
asked that just to clarify because a type 7 goes to a 5 in stress.
Ah,
So they kind of, for a 5, they go to the 7 in health, but
I could
or
see
no, you
either.
go to an 8. Just
I
kidding.
could,
But,
yeah.
but yeah, so if you were a 7, you would be going to a 5 in stress. So that sometimes
Right.
sometimes when you're talking about the Enneagram, it can feel like a lot, but that's why I like to go through it with people to help kind of unpack. And I
Absolutely.
take time. I take 6 months sometimes, going through, teaching the different aspects of it, helping people understand themselves more, because that awareness, what my hope is that all these protective layers, some of them we still need, some of them we can start to let go of and just start to live like you're saying, Mindy, like you're in this part of life that you're like, oh, I can rest a bit, and I can now live a bit into that healthy part of a 5 where you're like, I am competent. I can read for fun. I don't have to perform. I don't have to have the hype and do all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that.
I know exactly what you're saying. And I think that we speak to so many women out there of our age group of perimenopause, menopause, post.
Yeah.
And then you add on other health challenges that so many women are challenged with. And you do have to reevaluate how you do things so that you do still have energy at the end of the day.
Yep.
And how you exert yourself so that you can stay happy, not necessarily doing things the way you've always done them, but reframing that happiness, that joy.
Yeah.
And I'm there right now. I'm in the middle of this cycle of trying to figure out, how do I continue to live an active life while I know I have some limitations? And that's hard, right? That's hard for someone like me who's just always just shot out of the gate 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that fear of not being competent, I overcompensate and do more.
Right.
Right.
And
And
then
then I crash
exhausted.
and burn because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
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 And so I would say lifetime I've crashed and burned. And now I'm trying to reevaluate, what does that mean for me now?
And I wonder
Yeah.
if that has to do with some of the health stuff on a
Sure.
deeper level.
Sure.
It's like a big crash and burn
It
because
is.
because you're finally breathing
Yeah.
this last year.
Yeah. And so maybe you can talk about this, but like a 7, like to just sit down and do nothing.
Oh, they can't do that.
Yeah. So that's been a real challenge for me. So that's something that I've learned over the past couple of years. We've talked a lot about this on the podcast, of like, sit in silence, and how uncomfortable that was for me. But now I
Yeah.
can do it and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a great example of how I've switched my dominant of like, I've had to force myself
Yeah.
into this being that's not a natural default for me.
Well, that brings me like, maybe we need to explore your dominant type a little more, because your dominant type is going to constantly run the show.
So that's what you're kind of fighting against
Well,
or
my
celebrating.
7 is always at the core. I wake up feeling like a 7, like I'm going to rule the day and I'm going to inspire the troops, and I'm going to finish another project by 10 a.m.
Okay.
But I
So
can't.
yeah, I guess I'm
I can't.
exploring
Yeah.
like, as I'm hearing, I'm like, what is your type, your dominant
Yeah.
type, a 5 or a 7?
Well,
And-
and like you said, I love that you say this, is it's very complex. We're human beings, and when I took the test this past week,
Yeah.
in preparation for this, I know my headspace was different.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you took
I-
it pretty fast.
I know it was
feel like it's
different.
done. Sent it over.
Well, it's not a long test.
Well, no, but
Have you
You know what
me?
I mean?
Have you met me? Do I do anything slow?
right, nothing. Nothing. In fact, I had her help me with the Canva presentation because I'm like, I can't get it to do this. So she zoomed in and we were both, she had access to it. And all of a sudden I'm like, what are you doing? This presentation's in 10 minutes. She fixed the problem, but then she was like, I'm adjusting all your margins and like all the stuff that she saw that
Yeah,
I
it's a
didn't
real
see.
thing.
And
It's a
she
real
was
problem.
probably thinking, oh my God.
It was a real problem. But the fact that I can't pull away from it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
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 Right? Once I see something that can be enhanced or improved, or
Yeah.
I just want to get in there and do it.
So let's talk about the good things of a 7.
Yeah. So a 7 is, I mean, we want them all in our lives because they are happy and they bring the fun, right?
They bring the fun.
That's true.
Hell yes. This is my yes, girl. This is my let's
Less-
go
less-
do this.
Less lately.
Less lately.
Less
but
lately.
but you know, there was a time, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
she is my like, yeah, let's do
Yeah.
this. Like I have all these crazy ideas and she's like, yeah, I can see it. I can do it. We took my Wave Runner out. We've
I knew you
never
were gonna bring this
we have
story up.
never I've never hitched the Wave Runner up to a hitch, whatever. That was not right, but by myself, hitched it to a hitch. We have never backed a wave runner down, either of us,
Okay.
on our own or put it back on. And she came down to the lake and she's like, I go, well, we're just going to do paddleboard. She goes, oh no, we're going to put this thing in. And I was like, all right, let's do it. She had a hitch.
We did it.
And so we did it. And this is her first time. And everyone was out there helping us. And it was fabulous. And we got on the water and we're like, damn, we did this.
Because so many women will wait for the guy to come around.
Yeah.
And I swear I said this when I divorced my last husband, of anything a guy can do, I have to at least make the effort to do it myself independently and know that at least I tried and gave it a true effort. And something like that, I'm like, come on, we can do this. And we did. It was fun. It was fun and it was an adventure, which I love. And we laughed, and that's what life's about for me.
And then I got it back on the trailer another weekend and backed it into the spot at my place.
That's right. Yep.
And how proud was I? So proud.
We digress a bit.
Yes.
But
yeah. Aren't you proud of us, Tammy?
It is a reflection of our personalities for sure.
Totally. But she definitely brings the fun. And I love fun.
Yes.
Love it.
So I would say we need some more exploring time for the two of you, just to know your dominant type. But here's the thing. Like, I love the Enneagram, and we're not going to lock people into things, and we're just going to keep exploring and learning who we are and learn what things, if we're living out of fear, let's just get rid of that, right? And how do we do exactly what you just said, Mindy? How do we embrace that we all are capable? And we all just have to tap into that strength part of ourselves instead of feeling scared or insecure or we've never done it. So I don't want to get out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
So I struggle sometimes when I'm working with the Enneagram with people, because I'm like, oh, I never want to box anyone in. Anybody can do anything. I think the whole person, if someone's like truly gotten in touch with their selves and their authentic self that they were designed to be, they are going to be able to tap into all the 9 types, the qualities that are beautiful for all those types. Yeah. But when we're in stress or we're in unhealthy seasons, we're going to show other things. And with the Enneagram, you have your dominant type. So let's say, Mindy, you're a 7, because the way you're talking, I hear both in you, but the way you're talking, let's just say you're a 7. That's your dominant type, that you run from the fear. You don't want to be deprived, trapped in emotional pain, limited, missing out. Your desire as a type 7 might be to be happy, fully satisfied, content, freedom, spontaneity. So we kind of mentioned those. If you're 7, your wings are the 2 numbers next to you. So a 6 and an 8. So you can tap into the aspects, the parts of a types, the features of a 6 or an 8.
Okay.
If you're a 7. You also, like I said, with the arrows, tap into, if you're a 7, insecurity, you go to a 1, which I did hear you talking about in the perfectionism of the slides and the details of that. It's a growth thing. It's not a like bad thing. It's that you're focused and you're steady and you're intentional. And so that when you were talking in that way, I'm like, okay, there's that possibility. So you connect there in a growth path. And then in the stress path of a 7, you go to the 5, where you pull inward and instead of being upbeat and future focused, you might overthink. And that's, I guess, what I'm hearing right now, that potentially you're in a stress state when you took this quiz.
Yes, correct.
And that's a wrap.
That's right.
Oh my God.
That's like
we just tied that in a bow.
I spent a lot of money on therapy when I could have just had this podcast.
Well, Tammy does coaching.
I do coaching.
Yeah, you know what? This is a great time to actually bring that up, because we're almost at time. So can you share with people listening where to find you, what you offer as part of your coaching?
Yeah.
This is fun. This is great.
Yeah, this is great. This is just what we needed today.
I know.
Well, hopefully you guys don't go off and be like, oh my gosh.
Oh God, no. Oh my God, no. I thrive under this kind of conversation.
Well,
this is awesome.
Her energy right now is different.
Than when
we started. I mean, this has been healing
Yeah.
and helpful and hopeful
And would be, I think, for anybody who's open
anybody.
to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, tell
Yeah.
us how we can find you.
So the sun's going down on my part of town. And
See that. I see that.
Dark
We're like,
over here. So sorry about that. Because you guys are on the lovely other side of the mountains.
right.
There we go. We have some sunlight. You can find me at my website, which is Holiday Coaching, and it's spelled a little funny. So it's Holla, HOLLADAY. So think Holiday Coaching.
Holiday. Oh, sorry.
Not Christmassy. So some people kind of like think, oh, so you only do coaching for the holidays? No.
Holiday
No,
coaching.
So
Well, there
you know.
is a lot of coaching around the holidays.
Hello.
Okay, and then
we
you
need it. Yeah.
and then you have a newsletter called The Nudge.
Yes. The nudge. The
I
midweek.
love
I
the
like that.
title of
Midweek
that.
nudge. Yes.
And I have to
Love
say,
it.
they're great nudges. I'm really enjoying receiving
Good.
it.
Good. I'm so glad
Just
to hear
little
that.
things to think about. It's just like your friend comes in your email box.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so you can sign up for that, and then you
Sign up for
do.
that.
Yeah.
I do Enneagram coaching. So if you want to take some time just to identify your Enneagram type and understand it deeper, and not to just like put you in a box, but to understand yourself and peel away those protective layers. I do have a community of women, which is so fun, called the Nudge Community. And it's about connection, coaching, collaboration, and celebration, because we do not celebrate enough in our lives.
No.
And so every week we get together online and we celebrate what's the good thing. And sometimes that's hard to find, but we find it. But there's
Sometimes it's
accountability.
macaroni and cheese.
What?
No, sometimes it's macaroni and cheese.
That you got to eat it? That's your
Yeah.
celebration?
Hell yeah.
Well, I
Maybe
don't love
sometimes it's just
macaroni,
that.
but
Oh,
I don't like macaroni and cheese. Like, I don't
oh
know.
my God.
Tammy, what's a celebration for you?
Yes, let's do
Lately.
celebrations.
Yeah, let's do celebrations. So mine is just I'm celebrating this year doing things out of my comfort zone, like being on a podcast, honestly.
Like
this is
this.
like, this is
Congratulations.
my third one. And so it's just we've got to try and do things like unhitch the wave runners and do a podcast and do those
Totally.
things. just to
Amen,
stretch
sister.
ourselves.
Totally. Yeah, we were so badass.
What's your celebration, Natalie?
Oh gosh, I'm working harder than I ever have worked, but I'm not complaining. It's like I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like there's some really good, great things happening. I pushed myself to do speaking gigs. I did one yesterday.
Great.
And I tweaked my talk and added a few different things, and people just ate it up. And that was really fun to do that
Yeah, that's awesome.
and connect with people.
You love that.
I love that. I'm a year into a relationship with an amazing man. My girls are thriving right now. Knock
we
on
asked you one
wood.
thing.
Okay, yeah, that's
I'm loving it.
see?
I'm like, keep going. Let's celebrate.
Wait, what number keeps going when you ask them to do one thing? Just
I
like
don't
your
know.
word for the year. You had to have two.
I don't like one. I can't do one. I can't
yeah.
do
Don't box us in, right?
I can't-
Don't box us in.
And I can't, like, if you say, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, that's like, there's not one.
It's
Like,
impossible.
Exactly. What is one of your
It's
favorite movies?
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Celebrate. I am celebrating that I have a partner who I can travel with and have such a good time with. Traveling has never been more enjoyable for me.
Yay.
There's no stress, there's no arguing. It's just a really, really enjoyable time, and I celebrate that because it's one of the things that I value and love to do so much.
Yeah.
And I've always fought with myself around, why do I choose these people who don't enjoy traveling the way that I do? And now I have it, and it's so nice.
Yay.
I love that.
Anything else? I mean, I'll give you a couple more. Seeing me, we haven't seen each other. in
See,
a
she needs that
while.
affirmation. Do you see what just happened there? Did you guys get
Yeah.
that?
Ouch. 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 Okay.
One
That's
thing I
okay.
just want to, if you don't care, I'm going to say one
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, do.
Everything, all parts of my coaching that I do is all about knowing your core values and living in alignment with those. And what I just heard you say, Mindy, about that value of travel and then being in a relationship that aligns with that, like, I love that because
It's like everything.
Yay.
so important. Like
It's-
if you are feeling that internal friction,
Yes.
we really need to look at whether you're living in alignment with your
We're
body.
I agree.
no more walking on
I
eggshells.
agree.
Yeah.
And I love that you lead with the Enneagram, and then it opens up these conversations that so many
So good.
people can discover things about themselves and bring this sense of awareness, that then they can move
Yeah.
forward and make some really healthy decisions.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
So find Tammy Holiday.
HOLLADAY, and that
That's
was
right.
not hard for me to
That's
spell.
right.
Yay!
And thank you again so
Yeah.
much for
Yeah.
being
You
here
were
with
awesome.
us. This was really fun. We'll
Very-
have you- I think we should have her again.
I think so too. I do want to say one thing about a potential or another podcast we're going to do in the future. If you need some brand help on your brand, get a hold of me or Mindy, DM us, mention it. We're going to have kind of a hot seat situation where they actually help you directly with your brand. So taking someone.
Yes.
So if that's something that you are interested in doing, or if that, gosh, I don't know if it's quite right, get some expert help right on the spot. So awesome. Thank you, Tammy, so much.
you.
We really appreciate
Say hi
it.
to Denver for us.
We
We
will.
miss Denver.
It's beautiful here. We've been. In
I
the
know.
60s.
Oh, I
It's
remember.
beautiful here. It's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
But thank
all right.
you. I love being able to chat with you guys, and thanks for opening up and being vulnerable too.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
All right.